Hello and welcome to the Atrium on GreenBayPackerNation.com. Today is Wednesday, March 25th, and without a lot to talk about, I thought I would come back, do a little podcast. There is a little video cast. There is some news out there, but first today I thought I'd tell a little story. I live, as some of you may know, in Johnson City, Tennessee. I'm a Packer exile in Johnson City, Tennessee, and doing this video cast from my basement in Johnson City, Tennessee. Not that you need to know that information, but this came up today, and I thought it was very interesting. In fact, I almost got in an accident because of it. So I was driving downtown, coming on Interstate 26 through Johnson City, came to the exit that goes downtown Roan Street, and on that exit there's a billboard that has recently been changed, and now it's like an electronic billboard that has trivia questions flashing up on it. And I happen to be coming from a direction I don't usually come from, turning up the Cloverleaf to get, actually I was getting back on Interstate 26 from Roan Street when I saw this billboard, and all you Packer fans out there would appreciate that the question on the billboard was, the Packers' home field was named after whom? And so I come up and I couldn't believe my eyes, because here I am in Tennessee and I'm reading this and I had to do a double take, plus I'm on a Cloverleaf, so I come around the corner, and if you had been there in the car with me, and I'm glad you weren't, you would have heard me screaming at the top of my lungs, "Curly Lambo! Curly Lambo!" and driving around as I'm trying to merge back into traffic. I almost left it all on that interstate today, but I just thought it was great. Packers mentioned on a billboard in Johnson City, Tennessee. Guess what? That's why they call it the Packer Nation, folks. That's why they call it the Packer Nation. That's what we're all about. But there isn't a whole lot of information. We talked last time about how Ted Thompson had not done much in terms of free agency, and touched a little bit on something about predictions about the draft. Ted Thompson and the Green Bay Packer organization have, I think, left free agency. Although there were some rumors this week, I'll get back if there's anything more said about the Packers maybe still pursuing a player or two in free agency. We'll see if there's more about that. But as far as I'm concerned, the organization is turning its sights to the draft, which is where we know, as Packer fans, Ted Thompson likes to get the bulk of his players and construct his team from the draft. So I'm gonna say this for Ted Thompson. I do believe that he is out there doing his homework. I think his crew is out there. I think they are well guided and purposeful, and I think they are going to give him all the information he needs to hopefully have not just a good draft, but an absolutely stellar draft this time around. This could be the swan song for Ted Thompson if he can't pull a rabbit out of his hat. This time around, I don't think Ted can draft any Justin Harrells. I think he's got to draft the right guys in the right places. Look for him to draft more for need this time around than he's ever done in the past, although I have been one who has said, don't be surprised if he doesn't draft an offensive tackle right off the bat. Okay, but that's still a position of need. Keep that in mind. But I really and truly believe this may be, with a 3-4 defense coming in, a really fantastic defensive coaching staff, I think. Now, with all the potential in the world, the sky's the limit for those guys. But with that coming about, and the fact that he didn't do much in free agency, and many people in the Green Bay Packer Nation thought Ted would and needed to do more in free agency this season than he has in the past, and he didn't do it so far. I think this is Ted Thompson's make or break draft. So without saying more about it, we'll have a pre-draft video cast and talk more in depth about that. Go to the GreenBayPackerNation.com to find out more statistics, more news about it. But just suffice to say at this point that the groundwork that Ted is doing now, that his team is going out, the information they are gathering for him, may be extremely important for his future and the future, perhaps, of Mike McCarthy in Green Bay. So Not that that's so much news, that's more opinion, but that is my opinion. I think there are several and many out in the Packer Nation who would agree with that. Not necessarily that if they don't go, if they don't make the playoffs and go over 10 wins this year, that he's going to be fired, but that could be a very good possibility, and that if they go 6-10 for a second season in a row, there is a good chance he may be out the door at the end of this season. So keep an eye on that, and I think, deep down in our souls, everybody wants this draft to be great, because none of us want the Packers to be bad. We don't want to see another 6-10 season like last season, and this draft is going to be very important. So I think there's a measure of excitement that goes into this draft. Once again, I think there's a measure also of hesitation because of the fact that Ted Thompson's going to be making the picks. I will say, as I have said over and over and over again, I think he's a good judge of talent, but I think he's going to have to pull out all the stops and be on his A game this time around. I don't really expect any surprises from him too much, but it's just going to have to be good. So that's all I'll say about that. In terms of news today, there were some rule changes. The NFL owners meeting